Forced into an unexpected marriage, she discovered 10 life-changing secrets about love and resilience. The sun peeked through the window of the Maplewood diner, casting golden rays on Emma as she whipped up another stack of pancakes. "Just a little more syrup and a smile goes a long way," she always joked. At 28, Emma was the heart of the diner, a spirited waitress known for her sunny disposition that brightened even the gloomiest days. However, beneath her cheerful facade, the bills piled high, and life pressed down like an unforgiving weight. Each smile she crafted was a thin veil over her worries. Her life took a painful turn the day her older brother, a dedicated veteran, suffered a medical emergency. He'd always been her rock, and seeing him in pain shattered Emma's contentment. The calls to the hospital echoed in her mind, mixed with the haunting realization that his family struggled financially. The worry gripped her heart tight. She had to do something. There was no choice. Her nephew needed her, and so did her brother. It was then that fate dropped Jack in her lap. A wealthy businessman with a polished surface, Jack appeared on the surface as a stark contrast to Emma's humble roots. But an unexpected proposal of a marriage of convenience emerged in the midst of turmoil, a solution to both of their problems. The idea gnawed at her. Was this really love, or merely a strategic alliance? As they stood on opposite sides of the altar, Emma felt the weight of eyes on her, whispers from the townsfolk piercing her heart. "She is not good enough for him," they'd say. Their judgment stung. But what mattered most as Jack slipped the ring on her finger was the desperate hope of saving her brother's family. And through their awkward exchanges, unexpected sparks flared. Their union was more than just paper. It held the chaotic promise of change. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days turned into weeks, Emma dived into their unorthodox marriage with hope, naive, perhaps, but hopeful. Every argument with Jack seemed to uncover more layers of his guarded heart and reveal the ghosts from his past. Amidst the tension, Emma began to see glimmers of connection, moments where laughter broke through the heavy walls they both built. A flicker of normalcy dazzled her mid-meal conversations, fleeting touches, a shared smile, all hiding lessons about vulnerability beneath the surface. Then came the moment that rocked her reality. She stumbled upon 10 secrets that would challenge her perspective on love and resilience, forcing her to confront the notion of belonging. Just as she thought the fragile bond between them strengthened, an impending crisis brewed. Jack's past loomed larger than ever, testing the very foundation they had begun to build. As everything swirled around her, family obligations, societal expectations, and the raw longing for true connection, Emma stood fast. Would Jack break free from his affluent upbringing and allow his heart to embrace the spirit of family? Or would they both end up unhinged by the echoes of the past? The sheer weight of uncertainty hung heavy in the air, leaving Emma at the brink of breaking free or breaking down. In that swirling chaos, a thread of hope begged for discovery. Could love indeed conquer all? The alarm clock buzzed insistently, dragging Emma from the depths of sleep. As she rubbed her eyes, the memories of the day before flickered. Jack's laughter, their playful banter at the diner, those moments made her heart flutter. Yet shadows still loomed. She inhaled deeply, the scent of maple syrup mingling with fresh coffee as she prepared for another day at the diner. The hustle and bustle were comforting, a rhythm she knew well. She flipped pancakes and took orders with grace. But today, her spirit was weighed down by the thought of what lay ahead. Jack had hinted at a family gathering his family. The prospect sent waves of anxiety crashing over her. Would they accept her? Could she slip into their world without feeling out of place? In between serving customers, Emma replayed Jack's words in her mind. They'll love you, Emma. Just be yourself. But the whispers of self-doubt echoed louder. The town might whisper all they liked about her not belonging, but Jack didn't seem to mind, did he? The lunch rush passed, leaving her with barely a moment to breathe. She glanced at the clock. Noon. Jack would be expecting her soon. A quick glance in the mirror revealed a reflection of determination mixed with trepidation. She'd have to dive into this new life head first. When she arrived at Jack's family home, the monumental facade towered over her like an imposing giant. Glistening windows reflected a world she could only dream of belonging to. She took a deep breath before stepping into the warmth of the inviting space. Laughter erupted from the living room, the sound of Jack's family connecting like the missing pieces in her heart. Jack emerged from the crowd, a beacon in a sea of well-dressed strangers. "You made it," he exclaimed, his voice igniting a flutter of reassurance within her. Of course, Emma smiled, though her stomach twisted in knots. But as they walked together into the sunlit room, something unexpected happened. As introductions were made, she felt the warmth of welcome. Jack's sister, Laura, pulled her in for a hug, an embrace that whispered, "Your family now." A soft laughter bubbled as they exchanged light-hearted stories, and Emma felt herself begin to relax. Yet, Jack's father didn't take long to speak up, his tone serious. "Emma, how do you plan to support my son? He has a future ahead, and I hope you realize the weight that comes with that." The warmth in the room dropped, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Emma's heart raced as the words struck like a chill. Did he really think she was a burden? She opened her mouth, but the words stuck. Was everything she had been fighting for already crumbling? Jack interjected, "Dad, let her speak. Emma has more backbone than you give her credit for." His words brought a flicker of hope, but the struggle within her remained. They hadn't shared everything yet, her brother's struggles, the burdens she carried. The conversation shifted into a flurry, but Emma found herself lost in thought. She risked everything for this marriage, and with every pressure from Jack's family, every expectation, the 10 secrets she found in her heart began to echo louder. Trust, vulnerability, acceptance, these were the life-changing lessons swirling in her mind, begging for acknowledgement. An unexpected moment of vulnerability bubbled up inside her. She needed to confront Jack about the shadowy echoes of his past, to see if there was a deeper bond they could forge against the odds. As the night turned to twilight, Emma glanced at Jack. Their eyes met, and in that silent exchange, she sensed that the real challenge lay ahead. Would they choose to confront their truths together, or let doubt drive a wedge between them? With the weight of uncertainty resting heavily in her chest, she knew the evening was just the beginning. The future loomed large and unclear, but one thing remained certain. It was time to reveal those secrets and to finally face what was hidden. Did she have the strength to uncover the truth and embrace the future together? As the gathering continued, laughter and conversation swirled around Emma like autumn leaves caught in a breeze. Jack stepped closer to her, his presence a comforting boundary amidst the swirling social dynamics. She could see the worry in his eyes, unsure of how she'd respond to the probing comments from his family. "Let us take a walk," he suggested quietly, glancing toward the sprawling garden that stretched behind the house. One foot in front of the other, she followed him outside, the cool evening air brushing against her skin. It felt freeing, stepping away from all the scrutinizing gazes. The garden was beautiful, blooming with riotous colors and the promise of peace. "Emma," Jack began, his tone earnest, "I'm really sorry about what my dad said. He doesn't get it." She looked up at him, feeling a swirl of emotions. "It's okay, maybe he's right. I don't have much to offer. I just work at a diner, and then there are all the things in my past, my brother, my mom." He took a step closer, his hand finding hers. "What they think doesn't matter. It's us that matters. We're building something together." A weight lifted slightly, but fear still clung to her heart. "But they expect me to be something I'm not. What happens if they don't accept me?" Jack squeezed her hand, and she met his gaze, grounding herself in his steadfastness. "You're so much more than what you do. You're strong, You're kind, and you make me happy. I want my family to see that. But what if they still look at me as an outsider? The doubt echoed in her voice, raw and real. Jack took a deep breath. Then we show them, together. She could hear the sincerity in his voice, could feel it in the warmth of his hand gripping hers. With his unwavering support, the idea that maybe, just maybe, they could face whatever lay ahead flickered to life in her chest. Before she could respond, they heard footsteps behind them. Jack's brother Leo appeared with a grin, breaking the moment. There you two are. We were starting to think you ran away. Jack chuckled, but Emma felt her cheeks flush. Could they really face the family together, or would doubt start to creep back? Leo looked between them, mischief lingering in his eyes. Don't worry, Emma. We promise to be nice. Most of the time, his sister chimed in, joining them with a playful nudge. Laughter erupted again, and Emma felt her heart lighten. She took a moment to breathe it all in the acceptance, the warmth. Jack stood close, his presence a fortress around her. It was time to be honest, to lay bare those hidden pieces of herself. Later that evening, as guests migrated indoors for dessert, she felt the urge to turn to Jack. With a deep breath, she said, after we've all settled, there is something we need to talk about. What is it? Her heart raced. About my past. About my brother. Jack's expression shifted, an understanding dawning. Okay, we'll do it together. The tension in her stomach twisted again. But one thing remained clear: this moment would change everything. Conversations that often, when ignored, would come rushing to the surface. Secrets held tightly needed a voice. As they walked back inside, Emma felt the world around them humming with possibilities. Would the truth bring them closer, or would it open doors she wasn't ready to face? One last hesitant glance crossed Jack's face, and then they entered the living room. Emma couldn't help but wonder, would they emerge whole as a couple or fractured by the realities of the past? The answers lay just beneath the surface, waiting to be explored. As Emma stepped back into the glow of the living room, she felt a distinct shift in the air. Laughter and chatter enveloped the space, but it felt heavier now, charged with unspoken words and emotions waiting to erupt. She took a deep breath, trying to steady the storm swirling within her. This was it. Jack's hand slipped into hers, providing a tether she desperately needed as they navigated through the crowd. He was her anchor, and she tightened her grip, willing herself to face the inevitable. Let us find a quieter spot, he murmured, leading her toward a cozy corner by the fireplace. The flames danced, casting flickering shadows that mimicked the turmoil in Emma's heart. She could feel the warmth washing over her, yet it was cold anxiety that gripped her. Do you want a drink? Maybe that will help? Jack offered, his eyes searching hers for reassurance. Emma shook her head. No, I need to do this. The sooner the better. Jack nodded, his demeanor calm. He leaned closer, whispering, I'm right here with you. With one final glance at the lively group, she turned to face Jack fully. I've never really talked about my brother or our family life. It's complicated. Jack's expression softened. You can take your time. Just share what you're comfortable with. As she prepared to speak, a knot formed in her throat. The memories flooded back: the fights, the long nights spent worrying if her mom was okay, the promise she made to her brother to keep them safe. My brother, he took care of us after Dad left. I was just a kid. When he was taken away, it felt like everything imploded. It's like I lost my past and my future all at once. Jack's face darkened with concern. What do you mean, taken away? He was in a car accident, something he could never have controlled. I was at school when it happened, and my mom never really recovered from it. She fell apart, and I had to step up. Emma's voice trembled as she spoke, memories threatening to spill over like a tidal wave. I'm so sorry, Emma. Jack's reaction was immediate, empathy spilling from his gaze. You didn't deserve any of that. Her heart swelled and sank at the same time. I never wanted pity. I know it shaped who I am, but I always felt less than what? Less than worthy of love or acceptance, she admitted, tears brimming in her eyes. I've spent so long hiding from it, Jack. I don't know how to just be without the weight of everything on my shoulders. Jack's eyes bored deep into hers, steady and unwavering. Emma, you're so much more than your past. You are amazing. Don't you see how you light up a room? How you've handled so much with strength. His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, and for a moment, she believed him. But reality crept back in the fear of judgment, of not fitting into his world. A voice broke through the haze, drawing their attention. His mother, with a concerned expression, wandered closer. Emma, we were just talking about the holiday plans. We'd love for you to join us. Sure, Emma faltered, uncertainty flickering across her face. She could feel Jack's hand tighten around hers, a silent support at her side. Let us do it together, he encouraged, his voice steady. Together, she murmured, the weight of those words settling heavily in the air. As his family gathered, the laughter resumed. Yet, a lingering fear danced at the fringes of her mind. What if they couldn't accept her truth? Would they see her as just the girl from the diner, forever separated from their world? But as she looked at Jack, a small spark ignited within her, a flicker of hope. Just maybe love could bridge the gaps. The conversation grew loud again, but Emma felt as if she was standing on a precipice, peering over into the unknown. Would she take the leap or hold back? The uncertainty gnawed at her, whispering doubts as well as promises. And just as she began to feel a sense of belonging, a thought struck her: what secrets still lay buried in Jack's own past? As the laughter and chatter continued to circulate, Emma realized there was more to uncover. What truths would come to light when she dared to investigate Jack's hidden layers? As the evening wore on, Emma tried to shake off her anxious thoughts. Jack's family was warm and engaging, their laughter infectious, wrapping her in a cocoon of camaraderie. She smiled at their stories, but somewhere deep inside, doubt swirled. Could she really fit in? In her heart, she longed for acceptance, but an unfamiliar fear tugged at her. Tell us more about that trip to Italy. Jack's sister, Sarah, exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The family shifted their focus to the latest vacation adventure, and the room filled with vivid tales of cobblestone streets, culinary delights, and breathtaking views. Yet Emma could feel herself retreating inward. Those moments of happiness felt so foreign to her. They seemed like scenes from someone else's life. Jack caught her eye, a gentle nudge of encouragement in his gaze. She forced a smile, trying to hold onto the thread of connection their eyes shared. She wanted to be part of this, but the waves of her past crashed against her heart like unruly tides. I've always wanted to visit Italy, she said, her voice almost lost amid the enthusiasm surrounding her. The architecture, the art, everything sounds amazing. Come with us next time, Sarah said, her face lighting up. You'd love it. We could go exploring together. The offer hung in the air, sweet yet suffocating. Emma felt her breath catch. Could she join his family? Could she weave herself into their fabric? Maybe, she answered, but inside, a whirlwind of fear spiraled. What if they found out who she really was? The girl from a small town, a waitress trying to make sense of everything. Jack, sensing her hesitance, leaned in, resting a hand on her back. You belong here, Emma. Just be yourself, he murmured. But what did that even mean? How could she be herself when she'd spent years huddled in the shadows of her own truth? The conversation ebbed and flowed around her, but Emma's mind danced between thoughts of belonging and the shadows of her past. There was something so raw and real in Jack's family, and she wasn't sure she could measure up. Suddenly, the lively chatter was punctured by a loud clatter. Jack's older brother, Tom, accidentally knocked over a glass, sending it crashing to the floor. Laughter erupted as they all declared it a celebration of good vibes only. As they helped clean up, Emma couldn't help but feel the warmth of their camaraderie. A flicker of hope ignited again, the notion that she might not be so out of place after all. Here, let me help you with that, she offered, grabbing a paper towel just as Jack joined her on the floor. Their hands brushed together, a spark that sent a pleasant shiver down her spine. You okay? He asked softly, concern evident in his voice. Trying to be, she sighed, her heart fluttering between anxiety and exhilaration. All of this is just new for me. Jack held her gaze, a silent invitation to dive deeper, to share more. We could take our time, Emma. You don't have to fit into anything tonight. And just like that, she felt a little more relaxed. But then Jack glanced over his shoulder, smiling at his family, and Emma's heart sank again. What was his story? What burdens was he carrying behind that perpetual smile? The question spun in her mind, and she was suddenly pierced with curiosity. She wanted to know more about him, to peel back those layers. What could a boy like Jack, who seemed to have everything together, possibly have hidden? As the gathering resumed, the fear that had been gripping her heart morphed into a determination to discover not only more about Jack, but also about herself. She wanted to embrace this chance, to uncover layers of love and companionship. What would happen when she dared to ask Jack about his own past? Would it draw them closer, or would the truths he revealed push her further away? With every heartbeat, Emma realized she was ready to step into the light, but the shadows of their secrets loomed just behind. Would they be worth the discovery? Emma's breath caught in her throat as she gazed at Jack, whose warm smile seemed to dissolve some of her deepest insecurities. Maybe this was the moment. The thought sent her pulse racing. She wanted to lean in, to share something real with him, something that would draw them closer. Jack, she began, her voice barely above a whisper. Can I ask you something? Anything, he replied, his eyes never leaving hers, ready and open. What's your story? I mean, there is so much about you that seems perfect. What is behind that smile? He hesitated for a moment, the flicker of vulnerability passing across his face. It was gone almost as quickly as it appeared, but Emma noticed. It gave her the courage to push further. It's just I feel like I'm stuck between two worlds. The one everyone sees and the one that feels messy, he admitted. There is pressure in all of this. My family and their expectations. Sometimes I wish I could just disappear and figure things out without the spotlight all the time. Her chest tightened at his words. The layers she had wanted to peel away had revealed more of the person she cared for. You're not alone in this. I know what it feels like to want to hide, Emma confessed, feeling the words spill out with unexpected honesty. Their gaze locked for a heartbeat, a pregnant silence filled with understanding and unspoken connection, before a family member's laughter broke the moment. Hey, you two look like you're in a world of your own, Tom teased, walking by and clapping Jack on the shoulder. Come help. We're about to start a game. Emma's heart sank a bit. She appreciated the lightheartedness, but part of her wanted to dive deeper with Jack. Could she still find a way back to that moment of connection? As the family settled into the game, Jack shot her a reassuring smile before joining in. Emma found her place on the edge of the circle, her heart still dancing between excitement and apprehension. The evening passed in a blur of laughter and competitive banter, each round pushing her barriers down bit by bit. As she laughed along, she felt like she was finally stepping into her own skin again. But after a particularly loud round, she noticed Jack's laughter turn suddenly quiet. He pulled back again, his gaze distant. It was a look she'd seen more than once that evening, like he was fighting an internal battle and losing grip on something buried deep inside. Are you okay? She asked during a lull, watching him closely. Jack nodded, but the flash of something unspoken lingered. Just thinking, he replied. Then he leaned closer, his voice low. Sometimes I feel trapped between what everyone expects me to be and who I really am. Emma felt a strange kinship with him in that moment. You don't have to pretend, you know. You can be yourself with me, she said softly, her heart aching to reveal more, to help him free himself. Another comfortable silence lingered between them, charged with possibility. The game resumed around them, and as the laughter filled the room, Emma struggled with her own urge to confide in Jack. The thought gnawed at her, should she reveal her past? Would it change everything? Just then, Sarah called out, Emma, you're up next. She took a deep breath and pushed herself to join the group. But as she jumped into the game, the tension that had been building only grew heavier. What if, in revealing herself, she shattered any chance of the good thing that was forming with Jack? With every question that flashed through her mind, Emma realized the night was far from over. The lightness lifted, but so did a growing realization that they both had secrets veiled beneath the surface. As she tried to focus on the game, Emma couldn't shake the thought of what lay ahead. Would they rid each other of their burdens, or would uncovering their truths drive them apart? That night, as she lay awake, the soft sounds of Jack's family echoed in her mind, and she knew she was standing at a crossroads. With her heart racing, she realized she had to choose: embrace the uncertainty of love or remain hidden in the shadows. And just as she contemplated this decision, another question emerged: how much were they both willing to sacrifice to find what truly mattered? Emma's heart raced as she sat in the living room, the chaotic energy of the game swirling around her. Her thoughts were tangled, caught between the laughter and the weight of unspoken feelings. She had felt a connection with Jack, but it was laced with uncertainty. What if opening up shattered the fragile bond they were building? "Hey, Emma, you're hiding over there." Tom's voice broke through her reverie, his laugh infectious. But Emma's gaze flickered back to Jack. He was laughing, yet the light behind his eyes felt dimmed. It tugged at her chest. With determination, she pushed herself off the couch, ready to be a part of the fun. She joined the group in the center, forcing herself to smile as she played along. One round turned into another, and soon she was surrounded by cheers and playful jeers. But even in the heart of the banter, her mind drifted back to Jack. As the game continued, Emma caught him watching her. There was warmth in his expression, mixed with something deeper. He had told her about feeling trapped. Did he think she was just as confined? The thought prickled at her skin. Then, during a brief pause, Jack leaned toward her again, the noise of laughter buzzing around them like static. "Want to team up for this next round?" His eyes sparked with that familiar glimmer. "Definitely," she replied, her pulse quickening. The way he looked at her made it feel like they were in their own little world once more. They moved together with a rhythm that felt natural, his presence filling her with courage. As they strategized, she suddenly felt a wave of boldness. "Jack," she began, her heart dangerously close to spilling her secrets. "I know what it's like to feel like you're not who everyone thinks you are. I have my own burdens too." His gaze sharpened, a flickering interest igniting behind it. "You can tell me anything," he urged, his voice softening amidst the clamor. The moment hung in the air. There was a chance here, a fleeting opportunity to lay it all bare. But what if that risk alienated him? What if she revealed too much? And before she could speak, the game resumed, and they were swept back into the laughter of friends. Emma felt her words fade, swallowed by the chaos around them. Still, her eyes sought Jack across the circle. She could see that he too felt the weight of expectation. His laughter mingled with forced cheer, and an ache settled in her chest, one of unvoiced understanding. Would they continue to dance around their truths, or would they find the courage to confront them together? Emma's heart raced with the essential need for connection. She could sense that moment was coming, and she wasn't sure if she'd be ready. After the game, Sarah invited everyone outside to enjoy the warm evening air. "Let's have a bonfire. It'll be great," she declared, enthusiasm bubbling over. Emma felt it in the pit of her stomach, an opportunity to talk with Jack alone. They settled around the flickering flames, shadows dancing across faces in a soft glow. Emma's stomach churned with anticipation. This was at their chance. "Can we talk?" she asked, her words hushed but firm as she met Jack's gaze. He nodded, a serious look crossing his face. "Yeah, of course. Just give me a sec." He excused himself from the group, and Emma felt a surge of hope mixed with nerves. As he returned, she steeled herself for the leap, ready to dive into the depths of honesty. But before she could speak, Sarah interrupted. "Emma, look." She pointed, laughter spilling into the night. A firework shot up into the sky, exploding into a shower of colors. Emma glanced back at the fireworks, her heart pounding as the flickers danced overhead. The moment felt suspended, charged with a storm of emotions. She could choose to speak then and there, or let this chance slip away under the brilliance of the stars. What would Jack say when she finally revealed her own fears, her own hidden depths. A sense of urgency washed over her. The night was alive with possibilities, and so was their connection. Would she seize the moment, or let it slip away again, lost in the bright lights of distraction? Emma's pulse raced with the rhythm of the fireworks above. Each explosion of color pulled her attention away from her swirling thoughts. But Jack's presence anchored her in the moment. She inhaled deeply, feeling the warmth of the fire at her feet, its glow illuminating not just the faces around her, but the shadows within her. "Sorry about that," Jack said, returning to her side, a small smile playing along his lips. "The show is pretty impressive." Emma couldn't help but smile back, but the weight of her thoughts pressed heavily on her heart. "Yet is." She hesitated, searching for the right words. Was this the moment? Just as the fireworks fizzled out, the laughter of their friends returned with a warmth she adored. But the joyous noise felt like a barrier between them, an invisible wall keeping her from asking the questions swirling in her mind. "Jack," she started again, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah?" He leaned a bit closer, urging her on with an earnestness that made her breath hitch. "There's something I've been meaning to share," but before she could dive into her confession, Tom's voice boomed from the other side of the fire, disrupting the intimacy of their moment. "Who wants esmores?" he called out, his enthusiasm infectious. Emma felt her heart sink momentarily, the opportunity slipping through her fingers. "Let us do it," Sarah cheered, jumping to her feet. The group stirred, laughter flowing like the melted chocolate drenching the marshmallows. Emma couldn't help but feel the infectious energy, but Jack's eyes never left hers as he slowly stood up too. "Hold that thought," he said, a playful glint in his eye. In her heart, Emma was torn. She wanted to share her soul, to let Jack know what truly haunted her. But as they began to roast marshmallows and chase giggles, that courage felt further away than before. With sticky fingers and sugary smiles, they settled back around the fire, bellies full of sweets. The embers crackled, the flames flickering playfully. But she still felt that heaviness, a longing to connect, to break past the surface and dive deeper. Jack leaned against a log close to Emma, close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from him. His eyes sparkled in the firelight, turning everything else around them into a blur. "You doing okay?" he asked, his voice low and sincere. His question cut straight to the heart, making her feel vulnerable. "Yeah, just thinking," she murmured, pressing her fingers together to keep them from trembling. "About the game?" He tilted his head slightly, a playful smirk tugging at his lips. "Not exactly," she said, deciding to take a risk. "About us, actually." His expression shifted, eyes growing serious, listening intently to her words. "What about us?" This was it. "I feel like we've built something special," she started, her voice shaking ever so slightly. "But sometimes it feels like we're not fully being ourselves. Like there's more to uncover." He nodded slowly, and for a heartbeat, everything felt still, the laughter of their friends fading into the background. "You're right. I've been guarding myself too. There are things about me I haven't shared either." The weight of his honesty wrapped around her. It was more than a flicker of hope. It was a direct line to the truth. "You mean it? You'll tell me?" she asked, surprised by the rush of anticipation. Before he could reply, another firework exploded in the sky, bright and loud, pulling everyone's attention once more. The group oohed and awed, but Emma's focus remained on Jack. As the light faded, a different kind of urgency ignited within her. "Jack, wait," she began again, but this time the moment felt charged with something entirely new. She could sense that both of them were standing at a precipice, ready to jump into the unknown together. Would he choose to divulge the secrets that might change everything? Or would they let distractions pull them apart once more under the weight of unspoken words? The tension hung in the air, ready to snap at the slightest breath. Emma's heart raced, reality pressing in on her from all sides as she awaited his response. What if what lay beneath the surface was even more intense than she imagined? Emma's breath hitched, caught between the anticipation of Jack's words and the uncertainty looming like dark clouds overhead. The laughter and chatter of their friends faded to a distant hum as the sparks from the fire danced like fireflies, whispering promises of warmth and connection. Jack's gaze held hers, steady and deep, as if he were searching for the right thread to begin unraveling the tightly knit fabric of his own secrets. "Yeah, I want to tell you," he finally said, his voice thick with emotion. "But it's hard to open up completely when you've put up walls for so long. I'm scared." Her heart pounded. She could feel the weight of his fears mingling with her own. "Me too," she admitted softly, the quiet sincerity of her words somehow giving her strength. "But it feels like time is slipping away, Jack. We're standing at a moment we might never get back." He nodded, mulling over her words. The cracks in his facade were starting to show, and Emma ached to dive into that vulnerability with him. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, a loud cheer erupted from their friends, drawing their attention again. A group of kids nearby were momentarily lighting sparklers, their faces glowing with delight, and she couldn't help but smile at how innocent and free they looked. The simple joy reminded Emma of their own childhood of days filled with laughter, friendship, and dreams untainted by fear. "Look at them," she said, tilting her head toward the kids. "They have no worries, just pure happiness." Jack followed her gaze, a faint smile breaking through. "Yeah, I used to love sparklers." The atmosphere shifted slightly, their focus ebbing back toward their own pasts. "When was the last time you felt like that? No worries, just being?" she asked, her voice a soft thread, drawing him closer. He sighed, his brow furrowing as he considered her question. "It's been a while. Life, it gets complicated," he replied after a pause. "But I guess I've been running from those memories. Trying to be someone I'm not, pushing everyone away." "Why?" The question sprung from her lips before she could stop it, a mixture of curiosity and desperation intertwining. "What holds you back?" "I don't want to fail," he said, eyes clouded with emotion. "I feel like if people knew the real me, I'd disappoint them, especially you." "Jack, you won't disappoint me," she replied, her voice firm. "You have no idea how much courage this takes. Just know, whatever it is, it won't change how I see you. I want you to be real with me." He looked around the fire, a whirlwind of thoughts evident in his expression. The firelight danced across his face, illuminating his struggle. "Okay, but first, can we promise not to hold back? No more distractions, no more walls?" Emma felt the thrill of newfound clarity pulsate within her. "I promise," she whispered, heart racing as she sealed their pact with that simple word. The spark of their connection grew stronger, igniting a flicker of hope between them. But just as they leaned closer, the night sky erupted in another round of fireworks, the crescendo of color and sound echoing across the park. "Come on, look," blared Tom from the circle, oblivious to the magic sweeping between Jack and Emma. Emma felt a mix of frustration and anticipation. "Let us go watch," she suggested, trying to keep the connection alive despite the interruption. "I'll be right back," Jack said, standing abruptly, eyes still glued to hers. "I promise." As he joined the group, that same weight returned to Emma's heart. Would he follow through? Would he share what he hid beneath the surface? With each burst of color in the sky, she felt hopeful and anxious, caught between the past, present, and the promise of revelations yet to come. What secrets lay in Jack's heart, waiting to break free? And more importantly, would the fear of vulnerability push them apart or bind them together? The bonfire crackled. The silhouettes of Jack's family danced against the glowing flames. Emma sat quietly, her heart thumping a rhythm of anticipation. The fireworks flashed above, painting the sky with bursts of color, yet all she felt was the unspoken bond hanging between her and Jack. Each vibrant explosion felt like a countdown toward their own moment of honesty. Jack rejoined her after a final cheer, excitement still glimmering in his eyes. "What did I miss?" he asked, his voice laced with a playful tease. But she could see the depth behind it, the unshed confessions waiting to spill out. They shared a moment of silence, the buzzing of the crowd blending into a distant hum. "Jack," she dove in, the weight in her chest transforming into a need to share. I want to tell you something that's always been there, underlying everything. He turned to face her fully, the flickering firelight highlighting the earnestness in his gaze. What is it? His hand brushed against hers, a silent encouragement. Taking a deep breath, Emma continued, for a long time, I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world. My brother, my childhood, everything. I thought it made me strong, but it's also made me afraid. Afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to reach out. Tears brimmed in her eyes as she bared her truth. I don't want to hide anymore. I need you to know me, my whole self. Jack's face softened, and Emma felt a flicker of realization. Their stories were intertwined, both wrestling with hidden scars. What you've shared is more than enough, he said gently, his voice warm and inviting. I see you, Emma. You have made me feel something real, even in my darkest doubts. The sincerity of his words washed over her, and she found herself emboldened. But Jack, what about you? You said you had your walls too. What are they made of? He hesitated, but not for long. I felt trapped by expectations. My father wants me to be a success, a certain image, but his voice trailed off as he gathered his thoughts. I feel like I've been playing a part, and every time I smile, it feels forced. There's guilt behind it, like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not. Emma held his gaze, understanding all too well the struggle of shattering the images painted by others. You deserve to be the real you, just like I do, she said softly. What would it take to break those walls? Or is it too late? Jack looked deep into her eyes, and a breath of relief cascaded between them. I've started seeing glimpses of that freedom with you, Emma. Like being with you lets me breathe again. You make me want to choose honesty. His words opened a wound of hope in Emma's heart. They were both shedding layers, bare to the world, hearts intertwined in their collective journey into self-acceptance. Then let us do it together, she murmured, a tender smile breaking through the heaviness. Let us step into who we really are. Suddenly, the crackle of the fire seemed more alive, pulling the attention of their friends back to them. Laughter echoed around them, but Emma and Jack held fast to their precious moment. Breaking the barrier of secrets revealed more than just shared burdens. It bonded them tighter. Emma felt lighter, as if the burdens of her past were loosened. She glanced at Jack, who exuded a newfound lightness, an unmasking of perpetual joy and resolve. Without the shadows, they could thrive. They had created a sanctuary for their truths. Soon after, amid the laughter and cheers of the gathering, Emma spotted Jack's father approaching them, his demeanor unreadable. What are you two whispering about? He asked, eyebrows raised but without malice. Jack took a deep breath, squeezing Emma's hand tighter. Just talking about family, about being real. The sincerity dripped off his words like honey. Emma wasn't too sure what to expect next, but Jack's grip reassured her. They had each other, and maybe that was the anchor they both needed. It takes courage to share who you are, his father said, his tone shifting slightly. And it's good to see you both embracing it. The sincerity remained embedded in the air, just a little brighter. As the fire sparked above, so did the potential for acceptance, connection, and love. Emma caught the glimmer in Jack's eyes, a shared language of hope. Together, stronger than either of them alone, in that moment. As the fire flickered, it didn't matter whether they were from that town or dressed in finery. What mattered was the love they had found, the journey they chose to walk together. The warmth wrapped around them like a fortress, shielding against the whispers and doubts of the world outside. They were free to embrace their chosen transformation as the night shimmered with endless possibilities. Both Emma and Jack, bathed in the glow of newfound clarity, felt at the binding promise of love, acceptance, and the resilience they had forged together. The future, once hazy, now shone with the vibrant hues of opportunity and connection. As silence settled around the fire once more, Emma turned and whispered, "I'm ready, Jack. We'll face everything together." Together, he echoed, the weight of the world lifting as they stepped into the light of a new beginning, hearts entwined in unwavering promise. Now, before you go, here's an urgent message just for you. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that can change your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support the community that resonates with your journey. Comment below and share your reactions and feelings about this ending, what transformation stirred within you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and know they're not alone. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Real fans, like you, understand the importance of lifting each other up through these actions.